Hey sports fans, we're back, and today we're going to take a look at the best football players in Auburn history. Throughout Auburn's long history, the school has produced some of the best athletes in all of college sports, but who are the best to ever put on the Auburn jersey? Stay tuned to find out. But first, do me a favor and click that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed to this channel. All done? Alright, on to our video. Kicking off this list is a defensive tackle from Auburn who spent his time as a Tiger bullying offensive lines like he was king of the jungle. Derrick Brown may not be the first name on your list when you say Auburn Tigers, but he checks all of the boxes as one of the best among dominant players in Auburn history. During Brown's best season as a Tiger, he was considered one of the best players in the entire country. An athletic freak at 320 pounds that stands out on film for the amount of attention he draws while still being able to disrupt a play. Some coaches who played against him said that Brown was a problem on every single play, and even if he wasn't getting a sack or hitting the quarterback, he was affecting the offense. During his 2019 season, Brown missed 0 tackles and vaulted himself in the Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC in a race that really wasn't that close. Brown edged out fellow Auburn Tiger Nick Fairley simply because Brown was dominant for more than one season as a college athlete, and none of his 3 best seasons could be considered an outlier. Brown and his dominant ways were enough to get the coaches and sports writers regarding him as someone who may have been a top 3 player in the draft. Although Derrick Brown ended up going as the number 7 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, he's Auburn's highest selected defensive player in the modern era. Defensive tackles usually don't get enough love for their contributions on the football field, but on this list there happens to be 2 of them. During our second defensive tackle entry, Tracy Rocker's time at Auburn, he was a 3-time All-SEC selection, a 2-time All-American, an SEC Player of the Year, and a champion of the SEC not once, but twice. He also won the Lombardi Award and the Oatland Trophy. On accolades and resume alone, Rocker makes the list. But if you were able to see him play, he was noted for being a powerful interior force on the defensive line and someone who could blow up a play or 2. As a defensive tackle, he finished 4th in Auburn history in career sacks and 7th in total tackles. He also had an outstanding 48 tackles for loss. When we say he was a defensive tackle who can move, he can move. In 1993, Rocker was named to the school's All-Century team, and in 2004, Rocker became an inductee of the College Football Hall of Fame. Rocker was one of the most decorated athletes in school history and was ahead of the game at a position that wasn't used to getting the kind of production from a player at his position in the late 80s and early 90s. There may be some criticism with this pick, but if you look at the player's impact, there really shouldn't be. Although Cam Newton didn't become an Auburn Tiger until his very last year of school, what he did during that season was enough to demand his way onto any team's all-time list. In his first start, he accounted for 5 touchdowns and was named SEC Offensive Player of the Week. From that week on, he proceeded to shred defenses with his big arm and tough-to-bring-down big frame. Cam Newton was like Houdini with a cannon, escaping defenders and then being able to launch the ball 70 yards down the field. Newton's legs were an equal threat as he was capable of busting a 70-yard run at any moment. Cam was the true definition of a grown man playing with boys as he became the first SEC player to ever pass for 2,000 yards and rush for 1,000 in a single season, and also broke numerous school records including Pat Sullivan's single-season touchdown record. Cam's 50 total touchdowns dominated college football and helped Cam become the school's 3rd Heisman, joining Pat Sullivan and another entry on this list. Stats aside, Cam was also a winner. He led the Tigers to a perfect season, including a win over Alabama in the Iron Bowl, followed by wins against South Carolina in the SEC Championship game before being invited to the school's first BCS National Championship game. Cam ended up winning the BCS title against the Oregon Ducks. Had Cam spent more than the season that catapulted him to first in the NFL Draft, he may have even been higher on the Auburn all-time list. If people want to put him higher on the list, we wouldn't be mad at it. His impact was huge, and even if it was just one season, it was an all-time NCAA season. Quarterback Pat Sullivan may have played college almost 50 years ago in a time where athletes weren't racking up the stats like they were today, but his game definitely translated to today's football. A dual threat that helped Auburn by picking up first downs and touchdowns with his legs when necessary, and his very capable arm to set numerous Auburn records. Sullivan seemed to get better each year he played, known for being a winner and a chain mover. He led the Tigers to 2 seasons with at least 9 wins and was part of a 9-win team in another year. However, he didn't start every game that season. I know I said that people didn't put up stats like they do today. Sullivan managed to lead the NCAA in total yards in 1971 and also set an NCAA record in yards per play while breaking a few of his school passing records. Sullivan was a baller, and his play at Auburn won him numerous awards, including the Heisman for his best year and final season at Auburn, making him the first Heisman ever from that school and one of 3 in its history. Vincent Edward Jackson, better known to the sports world as Bo Jackson, is the top Auburn football player of all time, and it really wasn't that tough of a decision. While Cam was pretty super in college, Bo was simply a specimen that required his own tier for just how dominant he was to the opposition. Bo is fast, and by fast we mean mythically. See it and still might not believe it fast. Bo was also surprisingly agile for a player that was 6'2" and an imposing 230 pounds. When it came to Jackson's strength, the Auburn Tiger came in as a true freshman able to lift more than most people on his team, regardless of position, and was almost never brought down from behind or arm tackled. During his first season on campus in 1982, Bo put all of his superhuman-like traits to work and rushed for an impressive 829 yards and 9 touchdowns. After establishing himself as one of Auburn's most dominant weapons on offense, the role for Jackson expanded into lead ball carrier, helping him notch over 1,200 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns, while averaging a ridiculous 8 yards per carry. When you're averaging nearly a first down per carry, people are going to take notice, and after Bo's second season, where he led the Tigers to an 11-1 record, there weren't many people who didn't know Bo. During Jackson's junior year, the injury bug proved the athletic freak was at least human and robbed him of most of the season, but Bo came back better than ever during his final season at Auburn. Although still slowed by injuries, Jackson managed nearly 1,800 yards on the ground and 17 rushing touchdowns. Jackson took home the Heisman and finished his Auburn career as the only running back to top the 4,000-yard mark. Jackson was a 2-time All-American and a 3-time All-SEC selection. Had Jackson not been injured during his junior season and played through injuries during his senior year, there's no telling what Bo would have done, but what we do know is that while Jackson was on the field, there was never a player to put on the navy blue and burnt orange that was as dominant as Bo. Alright, sports fans, that does it for our time on Auburn's best football players. Let us know what you think by dropping a comment and getting a discussion going, and as always, if you aren't already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on this channel and more content just like this. Until next time, sports fans.